Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. It feels great to say that because this is the first snapshot of 2019. This is indeed 19w02a and we are creating a world with the same name. Why are we doing that? Because there is something new to check out when a world is being created. Let's click on create new world and behold an animation. Look at that. I believe it might be showing us all of the chunks generating from the center of the world, but I am just speculating. There was nothing in the patch notes about this, but it looks really cool. And then we get to join the world, and everything here is ready, generated for us to play. So there are 3 new things in this snapshot to check out, and the first of which you can see down here, it is a campfire, and a lot of people have commented already that this doesn't look particularly pretty, and I would happen to agree. It could be subject to change. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. This is how you can craft it though. It's sticks, coal or charcoal, and then any type of wood or log even stripped at the bottom. So it's pretty cheap to make. And this thing actually comes with the fire animation when you hold it in your hand, and when you place it down it will already be lit. Bam! There we go. Now that is a legitimate light source. We'll check that out at night time in a moment, and it emits smoke particles that you're supposed to be able to see from very far away. This is something that I haven't tested properly as of right now, so we'll come back to that again in a moment. But one of the really cool things that you can do with this is actually put a hay bale underneath it, and then the smoke particles will go even higher. So these are the new ones right here, and notice how they're getting much higher up in the sky. That is a really cool way to send signals to other players. You could just attach a piston underneath to move the hay bale back and forth, and then smoke particles will appear higher up in the sky. It's around 10 blocks when there isn't something underneath it, and hay bale is the only block that I know of that makes it go higher. I did try a few other ones like coal blocks and kelp blocks as well, other fuel sources, but that seems to be the one that does the trick. And then it goes up to about 25 blocks, so an additional 15 blocks higher. Now this thing can be unlit as well, and the way that you unlight it is actually by putting a water bucket on it, and that will cause the water to spread everywhere unless you have like a gap to the side like we do. So now we have an unlit fireplace, and that's what it's looked like. And to light it back up again, you use a flint and steel, and now you have fire. Let's check this out at night time now. And there we go, it's night time. This thing is emitting some light. It may not seem that bright, and that's right. If we go stand on top of this, you can see it is light level 9 compared to glowstone, which is 15 I believe. So it's significantly lower than other light sources, which could be useful if you only need a weaker light source in this particular space. And another thing I'm going to mention is what happens when we go into survival mode. If I go and walk on top of this thing, I start to take damage, but I want you to pay attention here. I don't get set on fire when I walk on the fireplace. I think whatever walks on top of here should probably be set on fire. Back to daytime, and I'll grab our piston, and you'll see that it doesn't interact with this thing. So we can't move it around, but we can obviously move the block below it, which will be useful. And if I grab this debug stick and we look at it, we can see on the right hand side it has 3 different states. It has lit, so it can be lit or unlit. I need to actually rotate to that one. So now we've selected lit, so it's lit or it's unlit. Then you can have the signal fire set or not, so now the particles will go even higher until this thing gets updated. And because we're using the debug stick, we can even waterlog it without updating it, so it just holds water on itself while it's lit, which is a really unusual sight, but it's something that you can do with this stick, I guess. So it may be very difficult to see on your screen, but there are particle effects visible down the middle here for me. We are about 220 blocks away from where that campfire is, and as I start to move back, this is where the particle effects start to disappear. Maybe I have to go a little bit further. So it seems that the range of them is around 220, 225 blocks, and that is pretty impressive. Also, like some other particle effects, they actually interact with hitboxes, right? So here they are getting all caught up underneath a block, and eventually they like push their way out to the side as well. Kind of interesting, I thought, since they stick around for a little bit longer than most particle effects do. On the patch notes, it says you can cook up to 4 items of food on this thing. This is the only way I can think of doing it, and after leaving it on here for ages, absolutely nothing. The patch notes do say that it's slow. This thing also doesn't have an interface, like there's nothing to click on and open up here, so I have no idea what way it is you're supposed to cook the food. Hopefully I'll be able to tell you by the end of the video. And now we have the cartography table. Some of you might think this is going to be a little bit disappointing, but bear in mind the idea of things like this is to separate some of the more obscure crafting recipes. So anyway, let's go into here and type in cartography table, and we can look at the recipe. Very simple, some wood and some paper. That will get you this block right here, and it now has a graphical user interface, this thing right here. Now the top slot is for maps. If we put in an empty map, it won't accept it. It doesn't accept, oh, it does accept it in the bottom. Of course it does. I learned this a second ago. Anyway, let's create an actual map with information on it. There we go. That's the area that we are standing in. And now what we're going to do is open up the cartography table, put it in the top slot, and it will accept it there. What we now can do is clone it and create a copy of the map, and it will give us 2 for this trade right here. If I put multiple ones of these in, it just gives you 1 for 1 each trade, and the icon didn't appear there for a second, but that's fine. There's something else that you can do in here as well. As before with the crafting table, you could I think surround the map with paper to zoom outwards. So now let's go pick this one up, and you can see that we have zoomed the map out and we can have more information on this map, and we can do that through all of the levels. So there is the next one right there. I like the way that it brings up a preview of the map that you're working with. That's a really nice feature to have inside of here. And we'll put in another piece of paper. It will get shrunk again. Open it up, have a quick look, and I think that's the maximum one. But when you do get to the maximum one, there's a little bit of a bug. If I do this now, okay, it did something different to what it did before. It actually showed me the whole zooming out thing that time. So this time it hasn't done that. Interesting. Anyway, there is one other feature that this has. Let's grab this map right here. Yeah, the smaller one. You can also now lock a map. This is an entirely new thing. So if we put in a glass pane, this acts as a lock, meaning that we can't change it again. So if I open it up and start to fly up to the top, where you can see there is clearly land that we should be revealing on the map now, the map can no longer be changed. So it is locked in this state, and I believe this is a feature that helps solve some problems with when you have banners in a world, or you put a map into an item frame. Nope, I don't think they thought that far ahead, but this is definitely something that should be done. So this is a locked map. We shouldn't be able to see that green marker from where we put it in an item frame, and we shouldn't be able to see this when we right click on it. In my opinion, that's what I think a locked map should do, because that would just be helpful. If you wanted to have these things, you'd just use an unlocked map. One last thing to mention, I guess, is that this isn't an inventory, so if you don't take your items back out, they don't get left inside the cartography table. Next up, we have the Lectern block, and you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to check out the crafting recipe. Let's learn it together here. Look at that, a bookshelf and some slabs above and below. That's pretty cool. And do you know what else is pretty cool? This block right here. It interacts with redstone and it displays books. We have several different types of book. A regular one like this that doesn't actually get interacted with. The book and quill, however, can be. And what we have right here is a book with text and another book with no text at all. We're going to put that one in first, and then we're going to right click on this thing with an empty hand. Now you'll notice that there is a redstone signal coming out of here, and it is power level 15, but there is more to it than just that. So there is our book, and we can take the book, and now we have 2 of them because we are in creative mode. If we put in the one that had text and then right click on the lectern, we'll be able to read the text. In fact, multiple players will be able to read this at once, which is the point of it. And notice how I can't edit or interact or do anything with the book at the moment. That is entirely normal. You can also put in a written book as well, and then you can open that up. You can't actually see the title of the book, one thing I thought I'd mention, but anyway, there is more to this. Like I said, I have a book over here that has lots of pages in it, and when we turn the pages, you're going to hear some sounds. So let me do some clicking. There are 15 pages. There are also 15 stages of redstone, right? So you can use this to manipulate a redstone signal, and with different amounts of pages you can manipulate different amounts of redstone signals. So this has the potential to be really, really powerful. So at the moment we're on the first page, therefore we have the first bit of signal strength. If I go and turn the page in the book and then we back out of there, it goes upwards by 1, and we leave it on this page. This I really think could be very useful for redstone contraptions and whatnot. Perhaps you want some sort of interface on how to control a contraption, and you could use the various states of the redstone signal line and then say what they do inside of this book. So this could have text saying turn light 1 on, turn light 2 on, turn on mob farm, and all you have to do is navigate through the book and leave it on that page to get that particular thing. I mean, there is a redstone contraption idea for you, and the fact that you can now have like an interface with text explaining what's going on, that's absolutely fantastic in my opinion. And I kind of mentioned this already, when you leave it on a particular page, other players coming over to the Lectern will see the same page. Anyway, that's about everything to do with that block. There is also a new command, which is team message. This allows you to message your teammates. I have created a team called xteam using the team command. If we go through the history here, there it is, xteam with a display name xteam, and then I joined the X team, and now when I use this, I will message only people in my team. That is really fantastic for servers, and this can actually be abbreviated to TM as well, so you can use it even shorter. Let's type in something different there. Hi again, that's supposed to say, and you can see that /TM works. And here on Minecraft.net, you can see that there are a whole bunch of bugs that have been fixed in this snapshot. It looks to me like they might be turning their attention now to polishing up the snapshot. Anyway, I picked out a couple of important ones to show you. The barrel block that was introduced in a previous snapshot didn't work with comparators. That was actually considered a bug, so now it will be able to do so. The grindstone block was completely blast resistant previously. This has been considered a bug, and now it can be blown up. Small aesthetic detail, but the smoker and the blast furnace now have this little icon instead of a crafting table. At the end of December, there wasn't a snapshot, but I made a video anyway about all the things that I missed in the development of 1.14. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out, because I showed that witches have been changed to be neutral. Maybe that was actually in a snapshot, but go check that video out, and I'm going to check my game mode to survival, and the witch should attack me now. Yep, it looks like this is my demise. Peeps, if you've enjoyed the video, then leave a like. As always, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you next week with another snapshot video. And also, I am live on twitch.tv/xisumavoid when this video comes out, so head over there if you want to catch a live stream. Anyway, ciao for now. Bye-bye.